Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck. Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound, up and in! 1 point more to go!
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field, back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
Hello, everybody. Welcome inside the Country Financial Studios. No news today. Not much to talk about here on today's show other than the fact that it's National Girls and Women's in Sports Day. Happy day to you. Happy to all who celebrate. A great day to celebrate the incredible women in sports at the University of Oregon. And on that note, a great day to celebrate a brand new Big Three in New York City for the New York Liberty. More on that coming in the Cafe 2-minute drill later in the show. It's also National Signing Day here at the University of Oregon. And, well, Coach Lanning teased it about an hour ago, dropping a new duck emoji. And we can officially announce it, a brand new cornerback for the Ducks finishing off a class. Coach Lanning, he teased it. Speed. That's a real theme here for the Ducks here in the show, or in their class this year. Roderick Pleasant committing to the University of Oregon, a consensus 4-star defensive back. This guy, quite frankly, can fly. He can fly. 180 pounds, 5'11", and he can fly. And excited to see how Coach Lanning can mold that young man. And congratulations for the Ducks finishing strong on National Signing Day. We saw it on the early signing day, and now we see that continuation. Forward momentum for the Ducks as they enter into that spring practice phase in the spring game, and all of a sudden we're gonna wake up and we're gonna see all these great Ducks debut. Coach Lanning was in the studio earlier this morning. He had more to say at his press conference that happened a couple hours ago. Let's go to it here. Coach Lanning on National Signing Day on the Ducks finishing strong.
All right. Exciting day for the Ducks. Obviously, really just an exciting offseason. I think we took a lot of opportunities to look for opportunities to improve our team, and they've shown up here over the stretch. But that being said, we can go ahead and open it up for questions.
Coach, with the full year of recruiting behind you, are there things that you kind of learned about specifically recruiting to Eugene and to the University of Oregon that you're going to take forward?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you learn lessons every year. It takes the right person, to come here and be an Oregon Duck. This is a prideful program that provides a lot of opportunity and resources for people to be great. But sometimes you have to step out on a limb, to make that happen. It's not always going to be the closest, most convenient option, but a lot of times it's going to be the best option. And I'll say this, Oregon is a opportunity that a lot of people want to be a part of. And they see the innovation, they see what exists here and makes this place so great. And that's what excites me. I feel like we can go anywhere in the nation and go get the best players when people see this for the right thing.
Dan, years ago, it used to take coaches 3 to 4 years to get, quote unquote, their guys in a program and shape things the way they wanted, positions and body fits and those things. You've got 63 players who've joined the program since you and your staff took over. How much do you feel like at this point that this is not just your roster because they're all your guys, but everything that you're looking for beyond just names and volume, but what you're looking for at each position, and that this is your roster and your program at this point?
The day I took the job at Oregon, this became my team, right? These are my guys. I don't care if I brought them here or somebody else brought them here. Obviously, the name of the game is always You want to enhance and get better and create competition within the team. But this is my team. It was the day I took over the team. It became my team, and they've been phenomenal from the start. What's our program going to be about? It's going to be bred on competition, on looking for opportunities to improve and get better. And when you can do that with, roster enhancement and roster management, we're going to make sure we take advantage of that to the fullest.
Dan, where do you feel like just this class made you guys better? Like, where's the improvement from this class?
I think speed. I think we're going to be a faster team. I think size, especially at places in the trenches, is a place that we've improved. But yeah, ultimately you want to be a faster team and you want to be a bigger team. And I think, we did both those things. Also think we did a great job of keeping the best talent on the West Coast. And that's something that we always want to do a good job of.
Hey, Coach, just wanted to know, how much do you feel the track and field aspect, Eugene having Tracktown USA, how much do you feel that plays into recruiting so many players, like you mentioned, speed? How do you feel like that plays into your strengths in recruiting?
Yeah, I think ultimately if you have goals and part of your goals involve track and football, there's probably not a better fit in the nation than this place, because we're one of the ones that's going to compete in the top 25 on both sides always, right? We're always going to be at the top of the charts from a football standpoint and a track standpoint. I think that provides really a unique opportunity for players that want to accomplish both.
Congratulations, Coach. How much do you think the potential of NIL at Oregon specifically takes an effect on recruiting? I know it's not the major thing, but how much do you think that would affect?
Well, I think any program that doesn't look to take care of their players and look for opportunities to enhance their experience in a world where that exists is going to fall behind. And we're fortunate enough to be at a place that's innovative in their approach and does a great job of trying to create opportunities. It's never the end all be all. In fact, if that's the reason you're picking here, we don't want you here. But do we have great opportunities for our student athletes here? Absolutely. And I wouldn't want to be at a place that didn't.
Coach Austin Novosad's been on campus for a little bit now. How have you seen him kind of establish himself in the locker room? And how have you seen both Bo Nix and Ty Thompson kind of help bring him along as well?
Really, Zach, it's hard, to say that I've seen a lot of that, only because for the last month I've been on the road, for 4 weeks straight, basically recruiting. And Austin, we've got to connect with. I'm really excited about what he brings to our program. I think he has an elite arm talent. And I think we got a mature quarterback room around him. And Ty and Bo both, I think, will really pour into him to help him, be great moving forward. But these guys have been grinding really hard the last month, really with our strength coaches and the guys that are on the team. So that's maybe the thing I'm most excited about as we approach the month of February, is to get to spend more quality time with the players that are on our team.
And there's been a lot of conjecture out there the last 2 months in terms of how should we as a college sports Inc. kind of evaluate transfers, evaluate and account for transfers and how they play into this, other than obviously their impacts they've already had and the impacts they do have on the field. But in recruiting rankings and evaluations where it may not matter to you guys inside the house, but it does on the recruiting trail, because players see that kind of stuff and want to see, is this class high, low, etc. How do you as a coach feel that as a business we should evaluate transfer players?
I don't care about rankings. I don't think any of our guys were highly ranked last year, and they turned out to be pretty good players.
Dan, I'm going to try one that I know has been announced, but Chris Hampton as the new defensive backs coach, just walk us through that process and kind of why he was the right choice.
Yeah, whenever transition exists, you look for opportunities to enhance your program. And Chris is really a like-minded individual I thought would mesh really well with our entire coaching staff. I think he's a great coach, a phenomenal coach, really a lifelong learner of the game. He's a guy that I've known, from a somewhat distance over the years and been able to connect with from time to time, whether it's talking ball, and just have a lot of admiration and respect for the job that he's done. And the closer we got to the hire, the more apparent and clear it became that this is going to be somebody that makes us a lot better, gets rave reviews for everywhere that he's been, and obviously did a phenomenal job this past season at Tulane, but certainly excited about what he brings to our program.
Head coach of the Ducks, Dan Lanning, meeting with the media. We'll have part 2 after this coming break. A reminder, tickets are still available at goducks.com/National Signing Day /NSD23 for the National Signing Day celebrations tonight at the Nike World Headquarters in Portland. Next week at Matthew Knight Arena a week from today, February 7th. Tickets still available. Good chance to be around the student athletes, the coaches, learn a little bit about Duck history. Great events going on both here in Eugene and in Portland tonight. Get a break. More with the head coach of the Ducks coming after this. It's Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
Meet Ed, movie buff, animal lover, safe driver.
5 years of driving an ambulance teaches you a thing or two. If people knew what I know, lives could be saved. When I see a car trying to rush past a turning bus, I get concerned. You see, when big vehicles turn right, they have to swing wide to make the turn. And that's a lesson you don't want to learn the hard way. When trucks and buses turn, let's you and I wait.
It's our roads. It's our safety. Visit www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
I've been driving trucks for a long time, and safety is my #1 priority. I know that my truck has huge blind spots. That's why I remember to check my mirrors often for smaller vehicles. Everyone can help keep our roads safe. Next time you're behind the wheel, try to avoid lingering in those blind spots. It can be dangerous. Let's all plan to share the road safely. Learn how at www.sharetheroadsafely.gov.
Welcome back into Duck Insider. Jordan Brenner here in the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. Continuing with the National Signing Day celebration here on Duck Insider. Coach Lanning, part 2 with the media. Here's the head coach.
You touched on it a little bit ago, just the recruiting out west, but I think you signed the most top 10 players in California. Just how important is that to you to be able to go into the SoCal in particular, especially with USC and UCLA leaving, that you can get the most players from that region, year over year?
Yeah, we're always going to play games in California. I think that's important for us, and we always want to sign the best players from the West Coast. Ultimately, we want to sign the best players everywhere, right? But if you can win in your footprint, and our footprint certainly, California is part of that. We want to have success there, and I think this year we've proved that we're able to do that.
Coach, got several commitments from Sheldon High School. Just kind of wondering what your guys' importance is in keeping the best players in the state. And then also, what's it like as a head coach here in Oregon to let kids that grew up local kind of, know that they're going to get to be Ducks?
And sometimes the thing that gets lost at a place like Oregon is the feeling of pride and performance, because it not necessarily grew up being a hometown team for a lot of people. And I think the guys that we were able to bring in from Sheldon, there's a little bit of pride and performance. There's a little bit of piece of wearing that O means a little bit something more to them. And whenever you can find good players, obviously Coach Lyon's a guy that I have a lot of respect for as a former player here, right? But when you can find a place that cares, about the university and find people that care about the university, it means a little bit more to them being part of the team.
Coach, we all know how much you love talking about PFF grades, and Keon Johnson is someone who grades out really well, and actually his tape is really impressive. I'm curious, his recruitment, obviously his relationship with Bo, how much did Bo have a hand in that and kind of maybe pushing that recruitment and getting that commitment, or how much was that you guys going out and finding him?
I think that we'll always lean on relationships. And I think if you look kind of at our history of signing players, whether it be through the portal or high school ranks, there's generally some connections there, and we look for natural connections that make sense so we can have a deep dive into what kind of people we're bringing into our program. And I think that's why we batted at such a high percentage last year. But certainly, Bo has a strong relationship there that we wanted to be able to tap into.
One of those other relationships was with Jordan Birch, Dan. How important was that relationship to bringing him here, and how imperative was it for you guys to add, by most measures, the top edge rusher available in the portal?
Yeah, I think that it just shows that you never know when a relationship might go full circle. And Jordan's a phenomenal player. I think you can see that looking at his film. I think he has a ton of potential, and I think he makes us better as a team. And I know his work ethic. I know his demeanor and his approach, and having that strong relationship, 4 years ago, you never realize it's going to pay off down the road and come full circle, like I said. But I think that gives us a chance to be better. I'm really excited about him being here.
Dan, just what do you expect from here in terms of additions? Any more prep players you expect to sign? Are you going to be active in the portal in May as well? Are you done? Where are you at in terms of just player acquisition in general?
We're always going to look for opportunities to enhance our program. Always. So if somebody can make us better and it fits, then we're going to do that. We're not going to chase just because either. I feel good about our roster. I feel good about the people that we have coming in. But if we have an opportunity to improve ourselves and make ourselves better, and I think we all have to acknowledge that there's a reality that more things can change, right? So as things change, you adapt, and we're going to be the best in the nation in adapting.
Marshall was on with Joey Mack for your in-house show earlier today, and he said that you guys have 28 newcomers enrolled. Just with the large number of guys coming in, how important is it that over half of those guys are already here and you don't have to implement that many new players in June?
I think more than anything, it's what it allows you to get better in the spring, right? When it allows you to practice and have 2-spot practices and use 2 fields and really maximize your coaches and really get the ability to steal almost a redshirt season or an off season with some of these guys. So last year we clearly didn't have that same amount of numbers, but we also got here a little bit later to the party. This year, being able to be ahead of the curve and get guys here early is a big advantage for us.
I don't think we had a chance to talk about him last year or in December when we talked, but Johnny Cornelius, what does he really bring to the offensive line for you guys and in the locker room as well?
Yeah, I think he's, Johnny's approach is a guy that really wants to, develop. I think he saw the opportunity here to grow as a player. He has aspirations of what the things that he wants to accomplish. He has clear goals of the things he wants to accomplish. And I think he saw that he could check all those boxes here, that he could make sure he reached those goals here. I think he is a professional, very intelligent, and certainly takes the approach of a learner, which is exciting for me, a guy that's looking to get better.
There were multiple reports that Adrian Clem was interviewing for the multiple spots for the Patriots. Has a decision been made if he'll be staying with the staff?
Yeah, I don't anticipate any changes as of right now. I think, to build off of that just speaks to the quality of staff that we have here and what people think of our staff. Obviously, Adrian's a phenomenal coach, but not currently anticipating any changes there.
Yeah, Dan, one more guy to ask you about Evan Williams. Just what do you think he brings to this program, and where do you see him kind of fitting into that secondary picture?
Yeah, well, I really liked his brother, so I thought we'd just bring him. And no, Evan is he's an infectious personality. He has a hunger to be great. I think his film speaks for itself. You guys can look up his PFF grades. I'm not sure what those are, right? But he's a talented player that enhances our program. He loves the ball. I think he's ready to put on shoulder pads right now and anxious to get to work. Our guys are going through some strength training and preparation in this offseason, and certainly excited about his approach.
Suave had announced that he's moved to the coaching staff. Has anyone else moved roles from players to coaches or assistants or medically retired or expected to miss spring in any way?
We'll see. We will see. I don't know. So it makes it exciting. Start digging. But no, excited about you guys. Appreciate all of you. Great questions. And thank you. I do want to say this, that the job that you guys do covering us is certainly a benefit for us. And I'm grateful and thankful for how much you guys care about Duck football and what that's created. So appreciate it. And here's to the next one. Let's start on 2024.
That's Dan Lanning meeting with the media. Appreciative of the media. They do a very good job covering every last detail of recruiting until the end. Ducks finishing strong here on signing day. And continuing with the signing day special, Joey Mack had a chance to talk to two brand new assistant coaches here at the University of Oregon. Those conversations coming up next. Chris Hampton, Will Stein on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Dear winter, Toyota's got 20 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer's websites as of 11/21/22.
You're listening to Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, podemos hacerlo. Go to smokeybear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. Jordan Brenner in the Country Financial Studio. Let's hear from assistant coaches here today, brought to you by Willamette Valley Cancer Institute. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. We'll start with Chris Hampton, the new co-defensive coordinator, safeties coach from Tulane, a young star in the industry. And let's hear from Coach Hampton.
First of all, welcome to Oregon. Welcome to the studio. What do you think? How'd we do?
It's nice, cool. I like it. Got a lot of stuff around here.
This is great. If you need any helmets, not that you do, just you say the word.
Okay.
And we've got it for you. Okay, so everybody who comes into the studio for the first time, and I hope that Matt, who was kind enough to walk you over, did not tell you this. He didn't. I can tell by the look on your face. We always do a 2-minute life story.
Okay.
Because I read your bio, I could tell fans all about you. I already have on our daily show, but I want to know how you describe yourself. And you know, we're competitive. We have a leaderboard.
Yep.
I'm going to time you. You up for a 2-minute life story?
Yep. Do I got to go the whole 2, or you want to go 2 minutes or less than 2?
It's your story, but the challenge is to get as close to 2 minutes as possible.
All right, you ready?
So that's your play clock. Ready?
Okay.
Okay. Go.
All right. Born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. I was actually born at home. I was born at Castalia Heights apartment complex. I was born February 6th before the ambulance got there.
Wow.
So I was born, it was raining, it was a storm, and you can picture the weather in February. And so before the ambulance made it to the apartments, I was there.
All right.
So I was born at home. All right, grew up in a neighborhood called Orange Mound in Memphis. Played football there, played for a team called the Whitehaven Cowboys. I grew up a Cowboy fan, so that was my team. Went on to play high school football at Melrose High School. I was a class president there as well. Left there, went to the University of South Carolina, played safety there from 2004 to 2007. My freshman year was Lou Holtz. My last 3 was Steve Spurrier. Wasn't good enough to make it to the NFL. I thought I was, but I wasn't. In the summer of 2008, I started working at a place called Roadway Express, loading trucks for about 2 months. Figured out that wasn't for me. Got right into coaching. In August, got a phone call. July 31st. I remember the day. We've got an opportunity over here at Arkansas State. Can you come over and interview? Went over and interviewed. They said we got a staff meeting tomorrow at 9 a.m. So I was there.
You were there.
I was there, 9 a.m. So I started. That was the first day of fall camp. So I started on first day of fall camp. I was 22. A lot of the players didn't know they were older than me because I didn't redshirt. They were calling me Coach Hemp, and it was weird. First year. It was long. It was early mornings and late nights. So I did that 2008, 2009, and 10. I went to Georgia Tech and GA for Paul Johnson. 2011, I went to Central Arkansas, coach safeties. 12 through 15, I was at McNeese State in Lake Charles, Louisiana, coaching DBs. 16 through 19, I went to Tulane University, coaching DBs. 2020, I went for the COVID year to Duke. I was there for 10 months. And then I was called back to Tulane to be the defensive coordinator in December of 2020. So I was there for the past 2 seasons. I've been here at Oregon since Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah.
Was that 2 minutes?
2:09.
2:09.
That's well done.
Let's go.
The 2-minute life story, 2-minute and 9-second life story of Chris Hampton. Were you kind of counting in your head? How'd you do that?
I was just trying to roll.
That was good.
I was trying to prolong some things.
That was really good. So I tell this to everybody. The reason I do that is sometimes I ask people for a life story and they give me like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Other times I have people that would give me 20 minutes and it's like, no, we gotta shrink it down. You remember dates better than most people I've ever talked with.
I do. I remember dates. I really do. Yeah.
So that's always been a thing
that's
for
always
you?
been a thing. My granddad was like that. He can remember dates. Just a weird thing. He can remember exact dates and.
Runs in the family.
Yes.
Runs in the family. Yeah. All right. So exact dates. Well, I hope that we remember that you started on Martin Luther King Day here at Oregon for a long time. Your success as a coach. What has defined your success? What do you think makes you good at this?
Relationships with players. I think that in my mind, I always put myself in the player's shoes, and I think about putting the players first. Yeah. And I think when you do that, the results will come. And that's what I think has always been like. It's not anything fake. I don't think there's not a manual to it. Sometimes people ask me that. I just think being real and being authentic with the players and trying to put them first and having their best interests at heart. And I think that if you do that, then you'll get good results.
I mentioned with Marshall that today is really like a celebration. It's signing day, but it's the second signing day, so it's kind of a celebration. Now, for you coming in, take fans through the process. What has been your acclimation process to the University of Oregon?
Man, so I got here on Martin Luther King Day. We had a Get Real. Mm-hmm. Program, which was good. There was time to, I had never went through anything like that, and I thought that was good. Coach Lanning led it, did a really good job of organizing, talking about Martin Luther King Day and what the day was, and me being from Memphis originally, so I know a lot about what happened with Martin Luther King and his fight, and so that was good. And then I was waiting on my background check. So I was here for I got here to the following Tuesday. So it took 8 days before my background check came back. I know people are looking at me a little crazy, like, hey, is there anything in your background? I'm like, no, it's just taking forever.
It takes time.
It took time.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do anything. But I was here in Oregon, but it was good. I got to ride around, look for some homes, kind of get the lay of the land. And then that Tuesday, which was this past Tuesday, I was able to go on the road recruiting that afternoon. So I went recruiting Wednesday and Thursday in Texas. Friday, I was in North Carolina. Flew from North Carolina back to Eugene Friday evening.
That's a flight.
And was able to go through the recruiting this past weekend with Junior Day.
Great. It's always amazing for me to hear how fast coaches, and I guess I shouldn't be amazed at this anymore, but yet I still am, how fast you guys acclimate and just hit the ground running.
Correct.
How do you do that in your profession? Man. Like, what's the key to that?
I guess I've done it a couple times.
Yeah.
It's just experience, I guess, because a lot of people are like, I got a call from Coach Lanning. I accepted the job he would offer me the job. I took it on a Saturday.
And then you started working Saturday night.
Yeah, and then, yes, you had to pack your stuff up at your office at Tulane, clean it out, get a suitcase together, and Monday morning, 6 a.m., I was on a flight.
Yeah.
And
I guess it's the business.
Correct. It's the business. It's part of it, and that's it. You just got to hit the ground running.
Yeah. So co-defensive coordinator, safeties coach Chris Hampton joining us. Welcome to Oregon.
Thank you.
So you'll be back in here a few times.
Okay.
But I can't spoil it too much for you. I do have a couple follow-ups to your 2-minute life story.
Okay.
Around some big-name coaches in your career. Who have been your biggest mentors and influences in your career?
Honestly, my high school coach was probably first name, Kenny Ingram. Had a great influence on me, and we talk daily, not just about football, but about life and how do you affect lives. There's a guy named Maurice Harris who got me into coaching at Arkansas State, and really it's been their impact has been bigger on why do you coach relationships with players, developing men, not X's and O's. I would say football-wise would be a guy named Tyrone Nix, who was my defensive coordinator in college at the University of South Carolina. Those are the kind of guys I would say that really I have a lot of intimate conversations with about a lot of things, outside of X's and O's.
Evaluating the roster that you'll have now in the spring and then moving forward, what do you make of your position group in particular?
I think we've got some tools. We've got some guys with a lot of experience. We have some guys that don't have as experience but are very talented. I think there's just some details that we could clean up. Small details. I played the position, so hopefully I can make those guys a little bit better, help them, get a little bit better, and that's it. But I think we've got a talented group. A lot of experience. That's always good. You've got guys who played, and we have a good balance of youth and experience. And I think that our young guys are very talented.
I was talking with Marshall Lake about the evaluation process, all these things. What do you look for in a safety? Like, what makes a good one?
The first thing, and it's hard to evaluate, is can he communicate? Can he get the defense lined up? That's really his biggest deal, is can he communicate? And that's hard to find. You've got to ask questions, make him think critically in the evaluation process, asking his coaches, and just see if he can do it. Maybe quizzing him some on visits, giving him a defense, see if he can, give it back to you. That's one of the big things. Can he tackle in space? The game now is so much of getting guys in space, and as a safety, can you tackle a guy in space? If you can't, it's a touchdown. Yeah. So you really want to have guys that can tackle in space, and then can they cover?
I think it's interesting. Like, I remember talking with coaches, I'll say 10 years ago, that defensive coaches would want some of the better athletes on their side of the ball, but offensive coaches are like, no, the explosive guy's got to come over here. Do you find now as the games evolve that more and more great athletes are playing on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, and I think in high school, a lot of times guys play both ways.
Sure.
You like to find guys that are really two-way players. Because like you said, in high school, the best athlete, a lot of times you want to put him on offense to give him the ball.
Right.
Maybe he's playing quarterback, running back, and DB.
Mm-hmm.
He's maybe covering the opponent's best receiver.
Right.
Or whatever the case may be. He may be playing middle linebacker, their running team. Yeah. He's got to tackle the ball every time.
Right.
And so, you would love to have guys, two-way players, guys that have high ball production in high school. I look for their guys with great ball skills. They can make plays on the balls and, get takeaways.
This is the same question that I ask every student athlete that comes into the studio. Why Oregon? Why'd you take the job?
Man, the really first was Coach Lanning. Honestly, I admired him as a coordinator of what he had done at the University of Georgia as a coordinator. I saw what he was building here. 10 wins in his first season. I've listened to him numerous times. He loves to clinic and talk on Zoom. So there's a lot of clinics. If you just Google him, if you're a coach, this guy's really sharp. And I didn't know we were the same age until we had this meeting the other day and they brought it up. But he was very, very sharp. So that was the first reason. The second reason was the brand. I think you got an opportunity here to win a national championship. I really do. I know we've played in two since 2010. Am I correct?
Yep. That's
and so
right.
I think it's an awesome opportunity here to win and win at the highest level. So it was a no-brainer for me.
So what's the next step for you? What are the next few months like as you head towards spring ball? What are you looking at?
My next few months is just I want to be able to learn exactly what we're doing and how can I, maybe give some input and make things a little bit better. But really first learn what we're doing, making sure I'm on the same page, that I'm not, saying anything wrong, that I'm speaking our terminology, our language, not my language, you know. So that's the biggest thing is me coming in and learning the players, gaining their trust, because then I think they'll play harder.
And then always off-season recruiting.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, this has been like recruiting madness since I've been here.
Yeah.
Unlike anything I've really ever seen, which is good. It's been fun. It's been exciting to see it and actually be in the game with guys. I've been at a lot of schools sometimes where you may call a kid, I really like him, but it doesn't matter how much I like him, he's not coming.
Interesting.
He's going to Oregon.
Yeah.
And now I think that the kids I call, we have a chance with each and every one of them. We've just got to win.
Well, Duck fans will like that. I'll leave you with this. Has anybody told you about the Autzen experience yet?
Yes. I've been learning like the juniors on Junior Day, watching the videos and everything. So
I like
I've
that.
been a part of it.
Yeah, we're almost like doing recruiting visits a little bit for you. I like that.
Correct.
I like that a lot. Well, hey, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Chris Hampton's going to enjoy his Autzen introduction. Everybody does. You know who else will? The new offensive coordinator, Will Stein. He's next. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
This is Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Ready for our little forest adventure?
Yes! So much waiting for me. Yeah, I wanna go outside. I wanna be.
We're here.
Whoa, that was fast.
There's a forest closer than you think. Find a park or forest near you and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by USDA Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're not too cool for me. And in return, I reciprocate that sentiment. I'll never be too cool for you. I was a man with a plan, but now I'm a dad with a decree, and you can't take that from me. Please let it be noted that I told my job they can dock my pay. Right now, it's just too important to take you to school every day. I want to be legendary for you. I want you to puff out your chest when you go to school, the same way I do. I walk taller because of you, because I found everything to live for.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back, Duck Insider in the Country Financial Studio, brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. You know, it's just crazy what these new coaches have to go through moving across the country. It really is a unifying force, I feel like, for these new coaches. Everybody has that journey. It's the nature of the business. You hear that from everybody. Let's take you through Will Stein's story. Joey Mack had a chance to talk to Oregon's new offensive coordinator.
New offensive coordinator Will Stein is here in the studio.
How's
Coach,
it going?
Joey Mack.
Good to meet you, Joey.
Great to meet you. Welcome. I asked Coach Hampton the same thing. Have you settled in yet? Or you feel like you're acclimated?
I think so. You know, I've been here since, I think, December 6th, maybe.
Okay.
A little bit longer than Chris.
Yeah.
My wife, my newborn baby boy.
Congratulations.
My 2 dogs, they're all up here.
Yeah.
Now, we don't have a house yet. Airbnb in it, so.
How's that life?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not the best, but.
You can't unpack any boxes yet.
No. All of our stuff's still back in San Antonio at our house, which we have an offer. We've accepted an offer on our house.
Great.
So we're moving forward. We're doing good.
So I'm going to ask you some of the same things that I asked Coach Hampton. So those of you that have been watching with us this morning, you're coming to Oregon, and I said this to Coach. I'm always amazed at how fast in the coaching industry you all have to just hit the ground running. How did you attack that as an individual, particularly with your family trying to move? How have you gone about doing that?
You know, this probably the same way I would do anything, which is as good as I can.
Yeah.
You know, it was a wild 3 weeks. My son was born November 22nd, playing the Conference USA title.
Yeah.
I think December 2nd. Talked to Coach Lanning December 3rd. Got offered the job December 4th. Was already talking to Bo Nix December 4th.
Yeah.
Trying to get him to come back.
Yeah.
And just hitting the ground running, recruiting. You know, right away. Was in homes. Was all across the country. You know, I was in Texas the last 8 years, so we didn't really have to leave the state much, right? So being now a national brand, national recruiter, being on planes, that was all different for me. But, you know, at the end of the day, relationships are relationships. Building those with kids across the country, it doesn't change just from Texas to California to Oregon. It's all the same, and football is football. So it's been a lot of fun. Have had great support here from Coach Lanning to Marshall to everybody down, and it's been it's been a really easy transition for me.
Well, welcome to Oregon. We have zero fun here. Nothing good ever happens. There's no success. There's no conference championships ever.
Zero.
Yeah, none of that. So every time that I have somebody in the studio for the first time, I like to do this for a myriad of reasons. You have to tell your 2-minute life story. Now, you already told us a little bit about coming to Oregon, but I'm going to time you. Goal is to get as close as 2 minutes as possible.
Okay.
The 2-minute life story of Will Stein.
All right. Born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky, September 25th, 1989, birthday. My dad, Matt, mom, Debbie. I have one of 4 boys. I'm the second oldest. Went to Trinity High School, which is a perennial power in the state of Kentucky. Jeff Brom is another alumni of Trinity, obviously the coach at Purdue. Walked on at Louisville, quarterback. Turned starter as a walk-on. Turned scholarship player. Was the starting quarterback in 2011 and was playing at Kentucky, which was my dream school because my dad played at Kentucky. Got hurt, I think, 3rd series of the game after I threw a touchdown pass. Then some kid named Teddy Bridgewater came off the bench as a true freshman.
Yeah.
And the days of Will Stein playing quarterback for the Cardinals were done. Teddy became the starter. I backed him up my senior year. We won the Sugar Bowl. Charlie Strong. He ended up getting the job at Texas. Spent one more year at Louisville under Bobby Petrino. Went to Texas in 15. Was there at 16 and 17 under Herman. Got out of college ball for 2 years. Went to Lake Travis High School, home of Baker Mayfield, Garrett Gilbert, Garrett Wilson. We had 2 phenomenal years there. Then got hired at UTSA as a receiver coach, and then offensive coordinator. Now here at Oregon. So, married to Darby Stein. Have a little boy named Joey, and 2 dogs, Julep and Sugar.
Love that.
Yep. Julep, mint julep.
Yep.
Drink of the Derby.
Yep.
Sugar. She's a white dog, so Sugar.
It made sense.
It did. So, and now I'm here at Oregon. So it's been a great life, I think, so far, for my 2 minutes of my life. And just very blessed and honored to be in this position and to lead this offense with great men around me and great players.
Minute 50.
Ooh.
That was well done.
Thank you.
That's one of the better ones.
Thanks.
That's top 10 on the leaderboard. Closest we've ever had is a minute 59.56.
No way.
Yeah. Bo Nix said he was cheating. Now, Bo wasn't the one that did it. I told Bo the story, and he was like, no, that's not. There's no way. But, it worked out.
That's pretty good.
Minute 50. So, as you can imagine, I have multiple
We're pretty good at
follow-ups.
2-minute drills.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, especially on the offensive side. I have found that basketball players tend to be the best at this game because of the shot clock, I guess.
Yeah.
For you guys, I always think play clock, but 2-minute drill for football players on the offense.
Former quarterback, I just kind of feel the clock.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Well, first of all, you picked a great name for your son. It's worked out really well for me in my life. I don't meet a lot of other Joeys. It's usually like Joe, and I'm like, I was never a Joe.
Yeah, I mean, he's a little kid. He's Joey.
Yes, exactly. Well, and I'm a perennial little kid.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
This is great. You and I are going to get along fabulous. This is awesome. I do want to ask you a little bit about your career and your experience. At first, being around some big-name coaches, you mentioned a couple of them, and that's one thing. Like, I can read your bio, but for me, it's always, what do you bring up, right? And so you clearly have been influenced by some coaches in your life and in your entire playing career, your coaching career. Who are some of your biggest mentors and inspirations?
Yeah, I'm a product of great coaching from the time I was 7 years old by my dad into high school football. Bob Beatty, who was a Hall of Fame legendary coach in the state of Kentucky and Missouri. Into my playing days at Louisville, my first quarterback coach was Jeff Brom, who was the head coach at Purdue. My second one was Matt Wells, who was the former head coach at Texas Tech. He's now at OU. My third is Mike Groh, who's the receiver coach for the Giants. Then I had Sean Watson for 2 years, worked under Bobby Petrino, Tom Herman. Charlie Strong was my college coach, worked for him for 3 or 4 years. Then even Hank Carter at Lake Travis High School. He's won 5 state titles in the state of Texas.
Big deal.
Jeff Traylor was a mentor of mine, like another father figure to me who took me under his wing at Texas and then hired me at UTSA, and now working for Coach Lanning. So I've been very blessed, and not a lot of people get the experiences that I've had in this career, especially being, a younger guy, and I've taken, bits and pieces from each of those guys, molded it into who I am at my core DNA, and just, trying to take what I've learned from them and apply it to my job now.
Yeah. Offense coordinator Will Stein joining us. Having that high school experience in your career after being after the progression you had in your career, how valuable was that and has that been, just having that high school stuff?
I mean, not only building an offense, but I mean it's big time football. I mean, I know it might not seem like it, but it's 6A D1. You got a jumbotron, they got replay, they got fans in the stands. I mean, you're playing the best teams in the state of Texas, and it gave me the ability to call football plays before I did at UTSA. So I had 10,000 rep rule. I had that before I even called it in college. And it's still designing a game plan. It's still attacking defenses. It's still putting your players in the best positions. Yeah, it might not be at the level or on TV, but I felt like I was prepared last year, week 1 against Houston, to go out there and give our guys a chance.
You know, I even meant that question more as like just understanding what it's like at the high school level, because now you're recruiting at that level,
sure.
Right?
And I've seen big-time recruitments from Garrett Wilson, who went to Ohio State, and I don't know if I can mention his name, but the kid that was at Texas, Hudson Card, I mean, he was a 5-star recruit too. So I've seen those conversations from the high school level.
Yeah.
It was the who's who of college football coming in my office to recruit our school. So, yeah, that is a good experience that I've had that I can relate to other kids in that position and other parents. So high school is huge. And you have to build game plans and build an offense around the team that you have. You can't recruit. And so that helped me really learn how to coach, and to develop relationships and to help kids out more than just football. So it's cliche maybe to say at times, but it is real. I mean, I really did learn how to coach those 2 years more than any because I was thrust into it and I had to coach. And, I mean, you got to develop middle school kids and teach them how to catch the football,
Well, player development, I'd imagine, was paramount.
For sure.
Right?
And even just relating to Coach Lanning, who's done the same thing, right? And other guys on our staff who've done the same thing. Coach Locke, our running back coach. There's been multiple guys on our staff that have coached at the high school level, and it's the ground roots.
Yeah. Talk about UTSA last year. So we do a daily show also. So I read through all of the numbers, and if anyone missed it, top 25, top 10, top 5 in pretty much every offensive every offensive category, I should say, at UTSA. What made the offense run so well?
Well, I mean, we had great players. And I think that's something that people don't credit enough is the players that you have. We had a great quarterback. We had a great trio of receivers, veteran running backs. Now, I do think coaching does matter, but players make plays. So we had a great nucleus of talent. And I thought we just worked really well as a staff, top down. And our kids made plays when it mattered. So, hopefully we can bring that same – not hopefully, we will bring that same – mentality to this offense, and I'm blessed to be in the position to coach Bo Nix, right? I mean, it always starts with the quarterback. We had a great one at UTSA, and to have Bo back is huge. He drives this whole offense, drives this team, and when he's going, we're tough to stop.
Every fan, when you mentioned that you were talking to Bo in December when you first got the job, I know every fan's ears perked up and they want to know, what was that conversation like? So I'm just going to be a fan here and ask you, what was that conversation like?
It was about as grueling of an interview as it was Coach Lanning. If anybody knows Bo, he's very meticulous, he's detailed, he's thorough.
You should have heard him on the coach's show last year sitting in that chair.
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm guessing he had about 20 questions lined up.
Nice.
And it was awesome. I mean, I got to know him very quickly.
Sure.
And who he was as a person and as a player and what really was meaningful to him, and it starts with his faith and his, who he is as a person, his core, his family, his faith, and he loves football.
Yeah.
He loves football. If anybody knows Bo, he loves it. He's in our coaching offices as much as anybody, listening to install conversations and watching tape and trying to get better. So it was it was probably about a 45-minute, 50-minute conversation. And I think he felt my my passion for the game through that conversation. So we really hit it off from the get-go. Very similar mindsets, and just want to get better, both of us.
How big of that is that to have that mentality that you just described in a quarterback? A guy who always wants to get better.
It's huge. I mean, part of what I look for in quarterbacks is that, football junkie, so to speak. So he loves ball. And it's hard to really play that position at an extremely high level if you don't love it. And everybody says that they love it, but do you truly?
Yeah.
I mean, he's, like I told you, he's probably in the office right now watching tape somewhere.
Yeah.
And if he's not watching tape, he's recruiting.
Yeah.
I mean, I told him once he's done playing, if he ever wanted to be a coach, he will kill it. Yeah. He will kill it. And I don't know if that's what he wants to. He says he wants to be a high school coach one day. I think he could be a college NFL head coach. He's that type of mind, football-wise. He's great at developing relationships, and he can recruit. I mean, a lot of the guys that we're signing or, getting that are in the portal is because Bo's a great recruiter. Mm. And if your quarterback can recruit, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
We can say as much as we want. Guys in recruiting listen to players a lot as well. Yeah. And, it's just the same when you're an NFL quarterback. You're trying to recruit the free agent. I mean, he's an exceptional relationship builder, and very happy to have him back.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have to ask you, too, the same thing that I ask every student athlete. Why Oregon? Why'd you want the job?
Well, I say this all the time. When Coach Lanning called me back and said, do you want to be a Duck? I don't think he said, do you want to be? He said, are you ready to be a Duck? I said, yes. I mean, it's a school that you grow up just admiring from afar. I'm from Kentucky. I mean, I never thought I'd be out here, but it's a national brand. It's a worldwide brand. Great football is played out here every single year. You coach the best players in the country. You get to coach with the best coaches in the country. I mean, why Oregon? Why not? It's an amazing place. The people here are first class. It's a professional organization, better than I've ever seen. It's extremely buttoned up. And, yeah, it's a place where you can win a national championship. I mean, we played for 2 in the last 12,
That's
13
right.
years. So I think we're right on the cusp again and really ready to get going this spring.
Well, Stein, welcome to Oregon. Pretty interesting to hear about that early dynamic between Bo Nix and his offensive coordinator. That relationship's going to get stronger. I have a feeling that that's going to be quite the marriage, and we're going to see some explosion at Autzen Stadium next year. We'll get a break, come back. Some updates on men's golf as they're in the last day of their tournament in Southern California. We'll also talk about the Big Three in New York City. Coming up after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www.fda.gov/drug disposal.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, brought to you by On Point Community Credit Union. Jordan Brenner in the Country Financial Studio. It's time now for today's 2-minute drill, brought to you by Cafe Yum. And we have to start with one of the biggest moves in WNBA history for the New York Liberty, bringing over former league MVP Breanna Stewart. she has decided to form another big three with Sabrina Ionescu. I think Sabrina fits well as parts of a big three. Too bad we couldn't see the Oregon big three go on to win a national championship, but no reason why Sabrina can't take Breanna Stewart and the newly acquired Jonquel Jones to a title in New York City. This concludes a huge offseason for the New York Liberty. Today, Stewart announced that she's going to play for the Liberty, coming a couple weeks after a splash move when the team acquired the 2021 WNBA MVP Jonquel Jones from the Connecticut Sun. That is some star power, and congrats to the New York Liberty getting that done. Also, an update for Oregon men's golf. They're currently on the third day of the Southwestern Invitational. After yesterday at North Ranch Country Club, the Surging Ducks were in second place. The Ducks were in fourth place at the turn of 9 holes. But things can change quickly in 9 holes. Oregon played the final 4 holes 2 under to rally into second, and they were led by the sensational Greg Solhag, who posted the only bogey-free round of the day to help Oregon withstand wind gusts of over 30 miles an hour. That's serious stuff. And he did it just in an even kind of hitting greens type of way. It wasn't too splashy. 16 pars. And then he made a couple birdies. He birdied the 4th and the 16th on the 7,000-yard golf course. So after yesterday, he was 2 under par. And continuing today, well, the Ducks have dropped to 3rd. They're 2 over as a team midway through the round through 9 holes. But like I just said, things can change really quickly in collegiate golf. It did yesterday. They are 7 strokes behind Pepperdine on the final day of the tournament, and hopefully the Ducks can turn it on down the stretch. They have dominated that back 9 so far this week, and Solhag today is even par through 7 holes with a birdie and a bogey, currently tied for 4th. That's an excellent place to be. 6 back of the lead, but an excellent result here early in the season for Oregon men's golf. And, well, that was the 2-minute drill brought to you by Cafe M, restaurants throughout Oregon and Washington where special diet requests and custom orders are always welcome. Menus and nutrition info at cafeyum.com. Fun show. Happy National Signing Day. The Ducks finished strong. We'll continue with that theme throughout the week and get you ready for a massive matchup for Oregon men's basketball in Arizona tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Thanks, Scott. Thanks, Mitchell. I'm Jordan Brenner, and as always, go Ducks.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about